Are you ready to learn how rapidly grow your business by mastering the art of gift giveaways and unlocking the true potential of your email list? Welcome to the Accelerate Ascension Summit, where we elevate awareness, magnify your message, and monetize your mission. I'm Dr. Katja Rusanen, your host. So joining us today is Michael Neeley, who is a former professional actor turned mentor for visionary solopreneurs, and he is best-selling author of Zero to Launch Podcast Accelerator. As the founder of the Authority Academy, he supports heart-centered entrepreneurs in growing their business through speaking, virtual summits, podcasting, and getting published. Welcome, Michael. I'm really excited to have you with us.
I am excited to be here, Katja. It's such an honor. I love your tribe. I love what you're up to in the world, and I can't wait to share with your people.
Thank you. And we met years ago when you interviewed me on your Consciously Speaking podcast. So before we dive into your presentation, I'd be curious to know, how has spiritual awareness supported your business growth?
Wow. That's a great question, and one that I would say that it is the foundation of my business growth. It's the foundation pretty much of everything that I do in life. I started very early on down a path of consciousness, a path of enlightenment and awareness. I've been practicing Buddhism for over 20 years, certified meditation and Dharma guide. And so it's a foundational element. Everything that I work from, that is the core of it, is a core of integrity and consciousness and mindfulness. So it's super important.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
And today you share your presentation, The Guide of Infinite List Growth, and where you unravel the strategies needed to drive rapid list growth through the power of gift giveaways. And I know our audience love giving, so I'm sure they are eager to learn from your wisdom. So the stage is yours, Michael.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it, and I'm excited to share about it. So I'm going to be doing some slides during the talk today, and on occasion I'll stop the slides and just come back to be face on camera, if you will. But essentially, I want to just cover first, before I jump over to those slides, is the underlying framework of giveaways in general. And one of the things around giveaways is that have to be clear on nomenclature or industry jargon. You know, every industry seems to have its own little bit of jargon. So I want to first be clear that the difference between a giveaway and your lead magnet, which is also something that you give away, is that in the industry, a giveaway is a basket. It's a gift basket. It's multiple gifts versus just the thing that you give away. Okay, so I just want to be real clear on the difference, that when I'm talking about a giveaway, I'm talking about the collection. So with that said, let's jump right in to some slides here. So what we're going to talk about today is how to quickly grow your list with giveaways. And part of that is, you know, I think a lot of people don't get. A lot of what I want to cover today is to provide you with some business insights that I feel a lot of entrepreneurs, especially they're going from whatever they used to do to jump into this kind of business, that they're missing some key elements. All right. And one of those is that your list is actually the lifeblood of your business. And it's where everything happened. And so I'm going to show you the best, most cost-effective ways to grow your list rapidly and with ease. And finally, I'm going to be mixing in several critical features of any business that continually surprise me that most entrepreneurs simply don't know. So let's start with one of those, the 3 simple elements of business. And I'm talking any business, every business. It boils down to these 3 simple things. Number 1 is lead generation. You have to generate leads in order to have a business. You need people who are there to buy from you, who are interested in what you sell. Next is sales. Well, once you've generated a lead, you need to convert them into a buyer, and that is the sales part of any business. Every business needs sales. And finally, you got to deliver on what it is you sold. That's known as fulfillment. So the three key elements of any business are lead generation, sales, and fulfillment. And any reasonably intelligent person can understand a huge takeaway from this simple fact. If you want to fulfill more, we're going to kind of reverse it now. If you want to fulfill more, deliver more of your goods, services, products, whatever that may be, you got to sell more. And if you want to sell more, you got to have more leads. It's really that simple. And it's why your leads, your list, is the lifeblood of your business, as I mentioned before. The bigger your list, the more money you can make. I hope that makes sense for everybody. And I guess my big question would be, who wants to make more money? I know I do. We all want to make more money in our business. We want to be able to keep the lights on and keep supporting the people that we're here to support in the world. And to that effect, money is what keeps you going. I know you got a lot of heart-centered entrepreneurs out there, what I would call light workers and healers and holistic practitioners. And in order to keep the lights on, in order to share your light, you got to pay the electric bill. Okay. And so one of my earliest mentors, Jeff Walker, put it most succinctly when he said that there are really only two rules of any business. Rule number one, only sell stuff that the market really wants. Rule number two, always be building your list. Now, remember, I said that I would also be imparting some basic business tactics that every entrepreneur should know. Well, here's one of them that goes along with what you're just seeing here from Jeff Walker. And that is, and especially when you're first starting out, I know we all want to keep our list intact, but you've got to stop worrying about unsubscribes. Okay. I remember the first time I grew my list, and I had, at this point, it was only about 300 people in there. And I sent out an email and I had 5 people unsubscribe. And I panicked. I'm like, oh my God, what did I do wrong? Why did they leave me? And this happened for a while. Anytime I would get an unsubscribe, it wasn't until I let go of that I really started to shift my business. Okay. And here's why. You didn't get into business to create pen pals, did you? Of course not. You got into business to make a living, and hopefully a good one at that. So trust me when I tell you that it's only when you let go of worrying about people unsubscribing that your list, that you will truly be able to start making money. Okay. It's going to allow you to market and sell your services a little bit harder. It will allow you to step up and promote yourself and your partners with a bit more frequency. And for any one of you who are paying attention right now, I'll tell you this. If you're worried about emailing your list too much, which I hear a lot from people who are just starting out, I got to ask you this. Have you ever built a better relationship with someone by communicating less? I think not. So don't worry about overmailing, and don't worry about unsubscribes. Consider your unsubscribes kind of like sifting for gold. Okay. You want the dust and the debris to sift right through so that only the golden nuggets are what remains. So don't worry about unsubscribes. I cannot drive this home hard enough for you. But first, we've got to grow that list. All right. For starters, you're going to want to have a hot lead magnet. Now, I'm going to share with you in just a moment here how to create one. And I want to boil it down to 3 things that I've been teaching around lead magnets for years now. And that is that a great lead magnet will not only attract your ideal potential customers, it should also do it in a highly targeted way that you don't end up with a junk list. Okay. So there can be a lead magnet that attracts everything. And then there are those lead magnets that are extremely targeted. And that's what you want, because you don't want to end up with a junky list. If you create a generic lead magnet, you're going to end up with a generic list. And in case you're wondering what's wrong with that, I want you to think of it like this. I love using relationships and dating kind of like in this world of online marketing. Think of it like the dating pool. Okay. So if you're looking to date, which is better for you? A list of 100 people between the age of 12 and 82, or a list of 100 unmarried men or women, insert your preference there, between the ages of 40 and 55. That's targeting. And targeting is essential as we cover the 3 key requisites of a great lead magnet that we're going to put into further use. Any lead magnet should consist of the following 3 key requisites. Number 1, it should be immediately available. People don't want to wait. When they're excited about something and you tell them, you tease them with what your lead magnet is, they want it now. And what I mean by that is, and this is where it can seem very counterintuitive, let's say your lead magnet that you get people to opt into your world is a 30-minute discovery call with you. Now, here's why this is counterintuitive. You can sit there and be thinking, they get 30 minutes of my time. Do you know how valuable that is? But guess what? They don't want it yet. They don't know you. And that's not just 30 minutes of your time, it's 30 minutes of their time. And it's not immediately available. They want it. They want something now. You just tease them with the information, give it to them now. So make it immediately available. And the discovery call will not convert as well as a one-page cheat sheet. I promise you. And that also falls into this next piece, which is it needs to be easily consumable. Someone can get your one-page cheat sheet, read through it and go, that was great. Perfect information. I loved it. Whereas they've got to give 30 minutes of their time, as I mentioned, to sit down with you for a discovery call. And they're busy. They're busy people out there. They may not have those 30 minutes to give you, so your conversion rate is going to be less. Similarly, if you got an ebook won't even convert as highly as a one-page checklist because an ebook's going to take them time. It's not that easy to consume. They're going to have to read it, especially if you're putting out a 100-page book that they're going to want to go through. It won't convert as much as your cheat sheet, the golden nuggets, the Cliff's Notes. All right. Keep that in mind as you're developing your hot lead magnet. And finally, it must solve a top of mind problem. What is your target audience sitting up in the middle of the night worrying about? 2 a.m., they can't sleep. They're going, oh, I need to make more money, or, oh, I need to lose more weight, or, oh, I need to find the right partner. They're lonely. What is it that's keeping them up at night? And once you've got that dialed in, you want to solve it for them. That's what your lead magnet should do. And I want to be real clear here, not your big thing, the thing that you sell. You want to solve the little thing. And this is the key that sets them up to want your paid offer. Okay. I'm going to dig into this a little bit deeper. I'm really an honest and transparent guy in the way that I do business. So I'm going to give you a real peek behind the curtains here. I'm going to offer to all of you a great lead magnet later today on this call, just in about 20 minutes or so. I'm going to offer you a really good lead magnet. It's the thing that I've created that I think you will want. That lead magnet is, well, it's designed to help you create a great lead magnet for yourself. All right. It will help you to do that. And once you do, woo, problem solved. All right. But guess what? That just sets you up with another problem. You're going to have this great lead magnet. Well, how do I get this hot lead magnet that I just created in front of the thousands of eyeballs, thousands of my ideal potential customers? And that's where my offer of the infinite list would come in. What is your back end offer after you've solved their first problem that sets them up with your back end solution? Okay. But before we get that far, let's do some digging into all of the myriad ways that you could get exposure for your new hot lead magnet. All right. But even before that, okay, let's do a review of what I call the litmus test. Okay. There are a lot of different ways to get exposure for your lead magnet. And you want to get the best bang for your buck, if you will. And so what I do is I rate these on the 4 following elements for my exposure litmus test. And those 4 elements are: number 1, what's my cost per lead? I want to make sure it's a low cost per lead. Number 2, is it consistent? I want to make sure that I got leads coming in all year long, not just a whole bunch now and then nothing for the next 3 months. It needs to be consistent. Number 3, it needs to be high quantity. We're not just looking to get a little trickle of leads coming in. You want a flow. You want to open the floodgates. And finally, it needs to be easy. You don't want to do something that's very labor intensive. You want to do something that you can easily do on an ongoing basis. So as we review potential ways to get exposure for your lead magnet, these are the things that we're measuring it on. So we're going to look at 7 of the most popular and most used ways to gather leads. We're going to start off here, the 7, and we're going to go through these one by one. Your website. Your website is fine. And by the way, you should use all of these. I want to be really clear, use them all, but understand what is the best and what kind of results would you get. Your website, I call that a trickle. Okay, because unless you're constantly driving hundreds of new eyeballs every day to your website, you're only going to get a trickle of leads coming in from there. Social media. Of course, you want to put your lead magnet out into your social following. But guess what? That's going to expire pretty quickly, because let's say you've got in your Facebook group, you got 5,000 people following you, and you offer your lead magnet. Well, after you've offered that for a few times, unless your group is growing by great numbers, your 5,000 grows to 6,000 to 7,000, 8,000 every month. If it's not growing, then the people who want that lead magnet, they're already going to be converted. And so it will slow down. Ads, paid posts, social media. Again, you can use that. It's going to be costly, but it works, and you're going to be paying a lot more per lead. So it doesn't really fill that low cost item when you start to run ads and do paid posts. Virtual summits, just like this one. Virtual summits are a really good way to grow leads, but how many virtual summits can you be in every year? And by the way, you're going to grow it best if you host your own virtual summit, and that's a lot of work. It's labor intensive. Okay, so again, it works great. I'm not saying don't do them, but it's not the best. Next is stages. Go speak on someone's stage. I do this on a regular basis. I love speaking on stages, but here's the deal. Most of the stages I'm going to get on, if I'm lucky, there's 100 people in the audience, 200 people in the audience. Well, that's not going to give me a real big quantity of leads coming in. I prefer to use my stage time for actually generating sales, but certainly you could use it to get leads as well. And it's also not something that occurs that frequently and consistently. It's difficult to find good stages to be on all the time. Next up, podcasting. I am a huge advocate for podcasting. I'm a podcast coach. I have 5+ of my own shows, 6 right now, a couple more in development. And podcasting is a great way, but again, it's not consistent. You've got your audience, you offer your lead magnet. Unless your audience is growing dramatically day after day, your leads are going to peter out. Okay, you're going to hit a certain number, and that's going to be a trickle after that point. Next is JV partners. JV partners are awesome. Whenever you're doing a big launch, you want to get a bunch of JV partners to promote you. But again, this is going to be a feast or famine thing. You might do a big launch. You might get 1,000 opt-ins during your launch. You might get 2,000. You might get more. But then what do you do till the next time? And here's the real fact of the matter. Okay. And this one is super important. I'm going to stop the share for just a moment here, because I want you to just see me as I talk about this one. And that's this. Once your list is built, I know a lot of people think, oh, hey, I'm golden now. I've got a list of 1,000, 5,000, whatever it is. And they think, I am set. But guess what? That list is dying, literally dying. What do I mean by that? Well, let's say you do a big launch and you get 5,000 people on your list. The first email that goes out, you're going to get a certain number of opt-outs. The second one, you're going to get more unsubscribes. And as I mentioned, don't ever worry about the unsubscribes. That's fine. But that list of 5,000 is soon going to be 4,500, and then 4,000, and then 3,000. And you're going to notice that your open rates drop off. When you first grow that list, people are excited. They've just come into your world, and you're going to probably have a pretty good open rate. But over time, they get busy. They start to, oh yeah, your information is not as interesting as it once was. Whatever may happen, your open rate is going to drop and drop and drop and drop. This is a key thing for you to really learn and understand, because the game is never over. This is why you must continually be working to grow your list, because otherwise it is continually dying. You have to continue to water it. You have to continue to replenish it and let the others float away to the wayside, much like we talked about earlier with the sifting through stuff. You're going to lose a lot of those people, but the big ones, the important ones, you're going to hang on to, and you want to keep adding to the mix. Okay. And so that's one of the challenges with doing a JV launch is you'll get a big list at one big heap, in the beginning, but then it starts to fizzle and you've got to keep doing more stuff. And JV launches and JV partners aren't that easy to line up, especially on a regular basis. All right, back to the slides. So the biggest winner of all of the ways to grow the list is giveaways. It's the number one way because it meets all 4 elements of the litmus test. You're going to get your lead magnet seen by thousands and thousands of eyeballs on a regular basis. And again, what is a giveaway? I'm going to jump to the definition one more time. A giveaway is a collection of valuable free gifts, often in the form of lead magnets, thoughtfully curated by a single host and contributed by a diverse range of expert guests. That is what a giveaway is, so that you now have a better definition of it, okay? And all of this is tantamount to having a hugely successful business. You want to generate these leads with ease. You want to have a continually growing email list. And in a giveaway, you put your gift in with a bunch of other people putting their gifts in. And imagine all of the people in a giveaway, each with an average, let's say an average list size of 2,000, okay? Often the giveaways that we run through Infinite Lists are much higher. Every one of those people emailing for that makes a cumulative, I got to say that, that's a tough word to say, outreach of over 100,000 people getting exposure to this giveaway. Now, a certain percentage of those people are going to opt in, and then those people go through this giveaway. They're going to look at your gift that you've put into the giveaway and go, ooh, I want that. They're basically raising their hand and saying, yes, what you have created is of interest to me. And that is where I tell you, they're a targeted lead. And this is so important to your business. Amy Porterfield puts it this way. And by the way, here's again, once more, giveaway meets all 4 of those criteria. Amy Porterfield said, after 13 years in business, 46,000 students and over 43 million in revenue, I can confidently say when your email list grows, your business grows with it. And by the way, this is an old quote from Amy. She's currently at over $100 million, not just 43 million, 100 million in revenue in all these years in business. Okay. And now we're coming down to the wire. And I don't want to leave you stranded. So I'm going to cover 2 more super important pieces of business information, just general business knowledge that a lot of people getting into entrepreneurship don't fully get. Okay. And one of the big ones that I want to touch on is what I call the buyer's pyramid. All right. The buyer's pyramid works this way, and this is so important for you to understand. And I really just added this to one of the things I was teaching because recently we had someone in one of our giveaways generated 500 leads. And they said, I got 500 new leads, but nobody bought anything. And that's not a bad thing. Okay, I want to be real clear. Sometimes people will buy right away, but if they don't, here's why. And this is important for everybody to understand around business in general. This applies across the board. For example, today, though, I'm going to set something that probably all of us are familiar with, and that's the automotive industry. The automotive industry, like all other industry, knows that at any given moment in time, 3% of people are ready to buy right now. Only 3% of the entire market right now is looking to buy a car at this very moment in time. Okay? That's just a given. The next 7%, well, they're going to be ready to buy real soon. Imagine you've got an auto on lease and you know your lease is about to expire in the next month. Well, guess what? You're going to be in that 7%. You're going to be ready to buy very soon, but not today. Okay, I want to be sure everybody's getting this. 3% are ready to buy today. 7% probably within the next week or the next month, but not today. The next group is 30%. They're not going to be ready to buy for a while. Again, automotive works real great. Let's say you've got a lease on your car and there's still a year left on your lease. You're not going to be ready to buy for another year. Or maybe you're one of those people who likes to keep your car going until it hits the last leg and it's about to die. And maybe you've got about 1 year left in that vehicle before it happens. You're not ready to buy for a while. The next 30% just bought. Maybe in our world, it could be someone just bought someone else's program, so they're not ready to spend money on my program at this moment. in the world of automotive. They just bought a car. They just signed a new lease. They're not going to be ready to buy another car in maybe 3, 4, 5 years. Okay. They fall into that 30% of the market. And here's the really bad part I want everybody to get, though. 30% of your market will never buy from you. Okay. In the world of automotive, this was real interesting. Katja mentioned that I used to be an actor in New York. And one of the things that I remember when I first, I started in LA as an actor, but when I moved to New York to act for a while, I noticed on a resume where at the bottom of a resume as an actor, you put your special skills and talents. Okay, what do you have that makes you uniquely skilled? And I was a professional horseman. I knew how to joust and sword fight, so stage fighting. And in New York, somebody said, well, you should put that you have a driver's license on there. And I'm like, doesn't everybody have a driver's license? And they're like, no, not if you live in New York. 30% of your audience will never buy from you. People in New York don't need a car. They don't want a car. It's too expensive to have a car. They use mass transit. They will never buy a car. And so think about that in your world as well. There are people who will just never buy from you, whatever the reason may be. So knowing your buyer's pyramid reveals that timing is everything. So even if you get a list that grows right away and people don't buy from you, don't worry about it. You keep nurturing that relationship. You keep marketing to them so that, and here's key, so that when the time is right, when they move to that 3% top of this chain, this top of this pyramid, they're ready to buy. You want to be top of mind. I guarantee you that there is probably nobody listening to this right now that hasn't heard of Toyota. So one could say, well, why does Toyota still bother advertising? Everybody knows who Toyota is. They advertise still because they want to be top of mind when you are ready to buy. And you need to do the same thing in your email marketing. You need to grow your list, continue to nurture that audience, and be top of mind when they're ready to buy. Okay. So I also want to share with you one other thing here that I think is really key as we're talking about email marketing and getting your email out there. And that is this. Jeff Walker talks about the launch echo. When you're doing a product launch, there is an echo effect of other value that comes aside from just the launch itself. Giveaways are the same thing. There is what I call a giveaway echo. And this is, again, somewhat counterintuitive. But guess what? Your open rates in your emails can go up. Now, I know people who say, well, why would my open rate go up if I'm doing a lot of giveaways? Well, the reason it goes up is because your audience starts to understand that you are constantly providing them with free resources. Therefore, they want to open your email to see what freebie is in there today. What giveaway is this person promoting? I want to see if it's something of value to me. So your open rates go up. Your unsubscribes can go down. Again, I know this is counterintuitive, especially if you're being emailed a lot about giveaways. You would think, oh, but people are just going to unsubscribe. No, they will stay subscribed because they know that you continually give great free resources. They don't want to leave your list because they want to be there when you offer more cool free stuff. So giveaways help your unsubscribes go down. Your authority goes up because you're being positioned with other experts in the field that they may recognize their name and your name is with them and your authority goes up. Your visibility goes up because you've got all these other people in the giveaway with you who are promoting the giveaway, and your visibility goes up because everybody's now seeing that giveaway and seeing your gift in there. And last, but certainly not least, is JV relationships go up. There is a hierarchy in the world of JV marketing. And for those of you who may not know, I know some of this may be all brand new to someone who's checking this out right now. JV stands for joint venture, and joint venture relationship, joint venture partnership. That is those people who are willing to promote you. And typically it's going to be in exchange for a commission, whatever, maybe they're promoting you and then ultimately you're going to sell something, and then you would pay that JV partner a commission for the people that they sent who bought from you. And then you could reciprocate. Okay. That's why it's kind of called a joint venture relationship, because you're kind of sharing in it together. And guess what? In the joint venture world, the JV world, there is a hierarchy. I like to equate this part to film and television. In the world of film, there are A-list actors, B-list actors, C-list, D-list, and all the way down to the unknowns. And the same thing comes into play in the world of joint ventures. When you're first starting out, you're an unknown, like an unknown actor. Nobody knows you. Nobody's going to hire you. Nobody really wants to work with you because nobody even knows you. And then you work your way up. You start to do some low budget film, and then you do a little higher film. You want to ultimately work your way up to be an A-lister. And in the world of joint venturing, you want to do the same. When your list is small, you're going to be a D-lister, maybe. You know, you got a list of 200 or 300 people. Most people go, yeah, I mean, you're welcome to promote me. I'm probably not going to promote you if my list is an A-lister. Like if I've got a list of 30,000 and someone with a list of 300 says, hey, let's cross promote, it's not a balanced deal. Okay. So an A-lister isn't going to want to play with someone who's brand new. You've got to elevate yourself by growing your list. And that's another giveaway echo. You start to get bigger and bigger in the world of joint ventures. All right. So I'd love to give you a free gift for hanging out and, you know, paying attention today. I talked a little bit about it earlier. It's called the Ultimate Lead Magnet Playbook. And Katja will be sure that you've got the link available to you here. Here, I'm going to stop the screen share and go back to just chatting with you. So the gift that I'm giving you is called the Ultimate Lead Magnet Playbook, and we'll provide the link for you in that. And it's going to dig a little deeper into some of the things that we talked about today, and I hope it will set you up for really a great path of success for attracting and winning over your ideal clients so that you too can have an amazing business and a lifestyle of abundance and bliss, knowing that you're here being of service in the world and that that is richly rewarding for you. And I'd love to be of support to you to help you get there. And Katja, if you want to come back on, if there's any questions that arose through any of the things that I just talked about, I'm happy to answer those.
Awesome. Thank you, first of all. This was brilliant presentation and really helps us to share our message with more people, as well as then monetize, get that money so we can focus on the work we want to do in the world.
Yeah.
Super, super important. And I love the idea of this gift giveaways coming together, because I believe together we shine brighter. So I feel that it happens in the giveaways too. So do you have a recommendation how many people, if or maybe it's first better to participate other people's giveaways and then organize your own, so you live and learn? What would be a recommendation there?
Sure. I highly recommend you jump into somebody else's giveaway before you try to do your own. It's a boatload of work to run one for yourself. Kind of my personal evolution, I was in other people's giveaways for a few times before I decided, okay, I can run one of these. Then I did my own. And by the way, one of the challenges of running your own is filling it. You've got to know enough people who are in this world of marketing who have a similar list as you that you want to grow your list from. You got to know enough of those to put a tough in and of itself. So I started doing my own giveaways. I started teaching other people how to do giveaways because they were saying, Michael, how are you doing this? And so I said, well, let me teach you. And then this was the real funny part, Katja, is I was doing a 3-day event on building your own giveaway. And it was a, get crap done type of an event. And one of my people in there, she raised her hand and she's like, Michael, this looks like so much work. Can I just pay you to do this for me? And so I had one of those aha moments. I thought, oh, well, you know what? My team has been running giveaways for years. We can do it pretty easily. And yeah, so we set up a done for you service as well. Wow. But definitely jump into someone else's before you consider doing your own.
Yeah, that's the great advice. And I love also that you shared, you can support people in this because yes, there is a lot of moving parts as well to go.
You're running a summit. It's got a ton of moving parts. Yeah.
It has a lot of moving parts, but I love it. Yeah. So another thing as well, because I know a lot of people as well have that fears of visibility, fears of putting our work out there. So if somebody has a little bit of fear, like, or maybe, is my gift good enough to share in a giveaways? What would you say to that person?
Yeah. Great question. it's hard to tell if your gift is good enough. Okay. So the thing that you really want to do is practice and learn and get better. You won't know if it's good enough until you put it out there, and then you put it out and you see kind of, okay, is it converting? Is it getting people? Are they the right leads? And then you go, okay, well, maybe not. Maybe I could make it a little better, and you grow from there. And one of the key things I have to say, though, is this, and I know this is going to sound counterintuitive, and please, I hope nobody takes this wrong, but what your gift is, what the lead magnet is, while it's important, what's more important is what is the title of your lead magnet? Because remember, they have to opt into your list first. And they're going to opt in based on what is the title and the promise of this gift they're going to get later. So you really want to make sure that you've titled it well. And there are some things that, I cover this in the lead magnet playbook that I provide, is how important your title is. And it could be simple as changing one word. So it could be 6 secrets to lose 20 pounds fast, to 6 critical secrets to shed that extra weight immediately. Changing just the title, same lead magnet, but just the title will get you more conversions of people who go, ooh, that sounds exciting. And it's critical, meaning, oh, is there something I'm missing? So you got to learn to title it right too.
I love that. And it is really what you shared as well. Just share, like put it out there.
Yeah.
You learn, you tweak, and it
Yeah.
gets better and better. But we do need to start sharing our work. And that way we accelerate the ascension. Because if we keep hiding our gifts, we keep staying the same. So
Yeah.
that's just beautiful encouragement there. And now, as we start wrapping up, could you share if you have any final words about the power of giving or gifting that you would like to
Yeah.
still share?
Yeah, there's another entrepreneur that I follow pretty extensively. I've got a couple of his books, and I like to watch his YouTube channel, and that's Alex Hormozi. And the reason I want to share a little bit about Alex is twofold. One of the things he teaches that I think is so important in this, like what we just talked about of trying it out, is he says, as long as you know how to continually get leads, you have endless opportunities to get it right. I kind of reframe it my own way to say you have endless opportunities to fail. Okay. That one doesn't work. Try something else. As long as you know how to continually get people into the flow, you can keep going until you master it and get it right. But the bigger piece that he also teaches, which I think is really cool in this whole heart of giving. And I'm not saying you go to this extreme, because he gives a real extreme on it, but I'm playing with it myself too. And he says, give stuff away for free. Give it away, give it away, give it away until they ask to buy something from you. Now, again, like I said, that's an extreme, but there is a lot of truth in that when you give, there's this thing known as the law of reciprocation. It's why they give free samples for all the stuff at Costco or anywhere you go, because the law of reciprocation is that when someone gets enough free stuff from you, they're going to feel like they now need to buy something from you. And so give, 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 I think it's a great mantra to go by.
That is definitely. And thank you for giving your time and wisdom with us today, Michael. And thank you for tuning in this Accelerate Ascension Summit session. It's really time now to share, shine, and succeed. And if you enjoyed this session, please give it thumbs up. I'm sending you lots of light, lots of love. Stay tuned for more. Bye for now.